Hi, I'm Tish and welcome back to my channel Auto Social UK. Over the decades, Peugeot have been so well known for their affordable performance cars. Anything wearing a GTI badge is definitely well respected within the industry. However, over the last years, we've seen the GTI badge disappear and we've started to see something a little different. There's a PSE badge and it's worn by the Peugeot 508 PSE, standing for Peugeot Sport Engineering. And this car here is actually the fastest ever road legal production Peugeot car. And today I've got my hands on it, which I am super excited about. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you like new car reviews and car content, then hit that subscribe button. Okay, so what makes this the fastest ever road legal production Peugeot ever made? Is it a 3-litre engine? Is it a 2-litre engine? No, it's a 1.6-litre engine, which I know doesn't sound that impressive, but this is actually a plug-in hybrid. So there's an electric motor on the front and the rear of the 508, and combined with that 1.6-litre engine produces 355 brake horsepower. But it's not just about the power. This car is actually incredibly economical, and there is a lot of engineering that's gone into this to make it such a great all-round car. But let's start by talking about the exterior, because it's quite striking, right? This is a stunning looking car, finished in this limited edition grey. It also comes in a black or a white, but this is definitely the colour to have. It looks amazing and contrasted with those little flashes of green, which the sun has just come out to show you how fantastic they look when the light hits it. Of course, it's very classic Peugeot. You've got the Lion Fang daytime running lights, which are instantly recognisable on the road, and it gets full LED headlights with static cornering functionality. And you've also got the badge on the front. Now, it is a tiny bit of a shame that it doesn't wear the new Peugeot badge, because I think that looks fantastic. But let's face it, no badge on this car was ever going to make it look bad. If you've followed the channel for a little while, you'll know I've covered a ton of SUVs, everything from electric to performance cars. However, fun fact, I would take a faster state over an SUV any day, and the PSE just goes to prove that point, because look at it. Look how fantastic this looks.
She's got a point. She's an icon. She's a legend, and she is the moment. Now, come on now.
It looks grown up, but it still looks sporty and stylish. I love it. I do get why people go for SUVs to have that higher ride height, but for me, in a performance car, it's got to be low to the ground. These wheels are fantastic as well. 20 inches, they look great, and they completely fill the arches, and that is down to the suspension setup. It sits 4mm lower, and adjustable suspension is standard. The front and rear track has been widened, and the springs are 50% stiffer than those on the regular 508 hybrid. Alcon has supplied 380mm ventilated front discs and 4 piston calipers on the front axle, and the 20-inch wheels are fitted to all 4 corners with Michelin's Pilot Sport 4S tyres. On the wing you'll find 3 lime green lion slashes. I love those little flourishes of green. Of course, you guys know that I've got my owner bath finished in adrenaline green, but this is something altogether far more grown up. This looks a lot better, but it's a way of having that fun kind of bright styling, but also tucking it into a far more classy and upmarket package. The only very small thing I'm not too sure about is this stickered graphics on the side of the front bumper wings. I've seen a ton of coverage on this car, and actually I've become quite familiar with the front styling. But why is no one talking about the rear? Oh my God, this looks fantastic. It really looks amazing. Maybe I'm just gushing over it and no one sees what I'm seeing, but I think it looks really good. You've got these fins that jut out of the side. Again, I'm not 100% on the graphics on them, but actually they look really good. You've got that gloss black rear diffuser housing that double exhaust. Yes, the exhaust could be a little bit bigger, but we have to remember this is a 1.6 hybrid. It's not a real high performance car, so the exhaust actually suits the nature of the car. It's not trying to be something it's not. You've also got those rear smoked out lights. I love them, with the Peugeot murdered out badge along the back. And these lights as well, I have to show you something, this is one of my favourite things. So when you unlock the car, look at that, you get a fantastic little light design. I love light designs. It's something so small, but if you're dark and you're in a car park and you unlock your car, it instantly makes people say, wow, what's that? Despite the fact that the 508 PSE is a plug-in hybrid, all of the hybrid bits are actually under the rear seats, which means you get the same amount of boot space on the PSE than you get in the standard car. And that's a pretty respectable 530 litres, not quite the 650 litres that you get with the Volkswagen Passat GTE. You also get some nice bits like this scuff plate, although it is slightly raised, which means when you bring things in and out, it might get caught on that scuff plate. So you can imagine that's exactly the reason they put it in there. You've also got a little bit of storage under the boot to pop your cables for your charging. You've got a nice retractable parcel shelf, and it even comes with an electric boot as standard. Space in the back is not that bad, and it's better than on the fastback version as you don't have a sloping roofline, giving me just a little bit more headroom. It is super dark back here with the black headlining and the black tinted windows. I definitely think I would opt for the panoramic sunroof. You're not really going to want to sit 3 people side by side. This middle seat is best used just for the armrest. However, the transmission tunnel is relatively low, so you wouldn't be struggling too much for leg space for 3 passengers on short journeys. There's also 2 USB charging ports back here. I have mixed opinions on the interior of this car. Now, considering these seats are not actually any different than you'll find on the standard 508, but they're just trimmed differently, they have done really well in making them feel special. You've got leather, Alcantara, a little bit of cloth, and then you've also got the green stitching which matches the outside of the car. I do like them, but it would have been nice to have maybe a bit more of a bucketed seat. You've got a nice centre console and everything feels really driver focused. In fact, this is the first driver focused car that I've been in that kind of competes with the Audi e-tron GT. That's how driver focused this feels. But a lot of the time it feels like that because of the way the dash is mounted in the Peugeot. The steering wheel is actually under the dashboard rather than in it, so it does make you feel much more penned in. That's good for some people, but for others who are slightly larger, you might feel just a tad claustrophobic in here. The quality and layout elsewhere is a very good mix of leather, Alcantara, carbon effect and gloss black. The centre console also has a nice cubbyhole to hide away your phone. I love the heavy-weighted piano keys on Peugeots. The touch-sensitive buttons underneath aren't as nice, but they are better than no buttons at all. And hooray, a physical volume dial. This is an expensive car, but Peugeot doesn't leave you wanting much. You've got some really nice options like electric seats, automatic lights, automatic wipers, high beam assist. You've also got heated seats, a 360-degree camera, satellite navigation, and then you've got little things that go above and beyond. You've actually got massage function seats, and you've also got a wireless charging pad, which really help make this car feel super premium. All cars also come with keyless entry and start, a digital 3D cockpit, and last but not least, a focal sound system. The 508 PSE, just like a lot of modern day Peugeots, has a bit of an unconventional seating position. You sit in the cabin almost a little bit strangely. First of all, you can't sit down quite as low as you might want to. And then you have the issue of the steering wheel. I'm quite a little person that likes to sit down low, and I kind of have to choose whether I want to see the instrument binnacle or whether I want the steering wheel to be right on my knees. However, once you get used to the seating position, it's not too bad. It's just very different setup than on a lot of other cars. But that's something I love. It feels different. It feels like you're driving something fresh and new. And there's no saying this car isn't driver focused. You really do feel tunneled in with all of the controls faced towards you, which I love. And in terms of a lover or a hater of the mini steering wheel, I love it. I really like this steering wheel, and I like the unconventional shape as well. But maybe that's to do with the fact that I have quite small hands, so the little steering wheel fits in perfect. It's actually quite Tish sized. As I mentioned, the 508 PSE has a front and back mounted motor, which makes this car all-wheel drive, very similar to the Audi S4 Avant or the BMW M340i touring cars, and both of those are performance cars. Okay, the 508 can't quite manage its 0 to 62 time of sub 5 seconds, but actually this car will do it in 5.2 when you combine the electric and the petrol, which is really impressive. And not to forget that this car is a plug-in hybrid. So WLTP say that this car will travel about 26 miles, or realistically 20, in full electric. So if you want the best of both worlds, this could be it. So exactly how much fun is the PSE to drive? And I'd have to answer quite a lot. The small steering wheel makes it feel like a little go-kart despite its massive station wagon size, but you certainly don't feel its weight on the road. It is really nimble, it reacts really well in corners, it's well weighted, there's not too much body roll, there is a very slight amount, but it really is a small amount. Because of that all-wheel drive, there is a ton of grip. You really do feel in full control when you're driving this car. Unfortunately, where it starts to lose out to rivals is in the sound department. The PSE is quite frankly quiet, with the only sound coming from that overworked electric motor. Also, if you ask for full power with a flat battery, it feels barely quicker than a regular Peugeot 508 hybrid, meaning that you may have to decline the race with the Ford Focus RS that's been tailgating you. So we do have to talk about the cost of the Peugeot 508 PSE, and any way you look at it or any way you try to sugarcoat it, this is an expensive car. An expensive car, let alone an expensive Peugeot. The station wagon will set you back just over £55,000, and for that money you can get a BMW M340i Touring, and that car is quicker. But it's not all about speed and badges. If you go for the Peugeot, you're getting something that's way more exclusive. Plus, the plug-in hybrid means it's way cheaper to run. Let's face it, if you're running this thing in electric alone, it's going to cost you peanuts. I know the price of electric is going up, but still, compared to the price of petrol, it's going to cost you peanuts. And also, there's not going to be many people putting all of their hard-earned money into this car. If they are, I would care to say they're probably a little bit crazy. But let's face it, most people will be buying this car on a finance plan, or they'll be leasing it via their work. And when you compare it to other cars that are in its category for kind of leasing car schemes, this starts to look really appealing. It's something exclusive, it's something that's quite affordable to run, and it's something that's still a lot of fun. But overall, I'd just say it's different than anything else out there. Yes, okay, it is going to fall short of some of the German rivals in some of the aspects, like the full-on performance, but it definitely makes up for it in different ways and in quirky ways. Just driving this car around, you do feel like you're driving something a little bit special. You see people drive past and try and work out exactly what it is you're driving, and I love that about this car. Every now and then I drive a car on this channel that feels like a little piece of history, something that I would never have driven unless it was for this channel, and that is exactly what the 508 PSE feels like to me, a bit of Peugeot history. And I love it when people comment on Twitter saying, I've just seen a 508 in the wild which isn't a press car. Let me know, have you bought a Peugeot 508 PSE? And if so, are you loving it? Please let me know in the comments below. And perhaps this was on your list of company cars, but it's something that you didn't go for. Why? Why didn't you choose this car? Look how fantastic it looks. But I know there is a lot more cars out there which compete with this car that perhaps just pull ahead of it in certain ways. And let's face it, we're so stuck on that badge. We're so stuck on those German rivals, which this car hardly even gets a look in. But I've really enjoyed it. I've loved this car and I love exactly what it stands for. If you've enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a massive thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, guys. Until next time, see you later.